some work with animals. I'm just going live now on YouTube also. Hello, everybody on YouTube and Instagram. Today's event talk is about animal communication. How they do it really is the same way with human souls. But I don't want to lie to you. So I'll say sometimes our pets are really just that. They're our pets. And when they come through during a reading, they come through like a dog or like a cat, saying things like, I really love that ball chase the other day. And my client will say, oh, she loved the balls. So sometimes it's just what it is as it is. And our pets are just that. Our pets also in the world of spirit. I can speak with pets in the physical world as well as the non-physical world, just as I do with human souls. I speak with the physical world as well as the non-physical world. I'm going to give you a few examples about some things that happened with a couple of pets of my own and also pets that were my cousin's pet. If you've been watching me, you know that I moved in with my cousin and his wife back in 2009 when my life was going nowhere, but hey, Natalie, was going nowhere, but nowhere fast. And when I went to speak with them, I went to visit them. They lived just outside of DC in Virginia. When I went to visit them, I had my cat in tow, my black cat in tow. And when I walked in, they had this huge German Shepherd, and her name was Killian. Well, Killian and Angel, my cat, got along great. When I was there, that was when I first started animal communication and spirit communication. We had met through a mutual friend, another medium that came to your house and did readings on your pet. And she gave a reading for Angel and also for Killian. When she gave the reading for Angel, she said to me that he was not going to make my next move with me. At that time, I had no idea where I was moving to. I had no idea how long I was going to be in Virginia. It turned out that I stayed there for almost 7 years, and true to her word, my angel passed away about 7 months prior to me moving out of the state. But let's go back to Killian. Killian was a fabulous long-haired German Shepherd. She got along well with everybody, except some delivery men, but we'll leave that for another story. When she passed away, prior to Angel passing, Killian passed away. Old age, she had some hip stuff as German Shepherds do, but she was a beautiful dog. The day after she passed away, I am a medium at this point, maybe not. I think I was just moving into I could possibly speak with spirits. So again, when you're asking for signs, whether it be from your loved ones or your animals that have passed or that are still here, you need to just listen. Eyes, ears, and hearts open, because you never know how that message is going to come through. Okay, so Killian passes, and a day later, I'm driving my car in a horrible rainstorm down one of the main drags that I always drove on when I lived in Virginia. I don't know if I was speaking to Killian at that time or just thinking about her, because it had only been a day or so. And passing me on the right in this tremendous downpour was a Jeep. And that Jeep's license plate said, who can say it with me? Said Killian. The Jeep's license plate had the name Killian on it. Now, I happened to turn my head to look in this, again, rainstorm that, coming down hard, couldn't see the road, but I happened to turn real quickly and saw the license plate Killian. So at that moment, this was my cousin's dog. And of course, I told her, and we all cried for that. At this moment, I did not know how powerful Killian was going to be in the world of non physical, but I was about to get many examples in the years that followed. So I'm going to give you one more example, and then I'm going to save the third example for the end. The second example that Killian came through, my cousin was doing a reading with a medium that I got read with, my daughter got read, and Carrie, my cousin, got read. This was when I first started seeing spirit. So she gets a reading from this guy. His name was Reverend Justin Terry. And he says to her, Killian's here. Is Killian your sister? And Carrie says, no. And she doesn't give him any more information. And he says, Killian's coming through as a very loving female soul. And I can only view it as a sister, as someone who's very close to you. But I don't know. So Carrie says, Killian was my dog. Was my dog. So Killian again was coming through as human form, a human soul, or the medium couldn't understand who this soul was, got the name Killian, got a female, but that was all. Never even attributed that soul to a pet. So at that time, we're thinking even more, Killian's pretty powerful, and boy, we love that dog. So this is when I'm living in Virginia with my cousin and his wife. I'm going to give you another example about how dogs can communicate from the physical world. I'm living with my cousin and his wife, and as we already know, they are big animal lovers, as am I. They're outside one day, and they text me from outside, Donna, look out the window. I got two streams going here. I'm trying my best to look at both. They say, Donna, look out the window. I look out the window, and there's a puppy outside that my cousin is playing with, a puppy. So I run outside, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, this puppy was underneath, my cousin Jason was underneath his truck. It was just there. So we were both all thinking someone must have lost it. It must have gotten away, because we couldn't imagine that someone could have just dropped off a puppy. It was a little puppy. It was a brown puppy. Couldn't tell what it was, but it was the cutest little thing, very loving. So my cousin, Carrie, being the loving dog person that she is, of course, took it in. They were working full time, and I was taking care of the house, the dogs, the cat. Killian was still alive at this point. I start putting it on all social media that I could think of, contacting the vets, doing everything you might do to try to find the owners of this beautiful puppy. Nothing. So a day or two goes by and still no word, and we've still got word out there from the vets, the local shelters. Nothing has come through that this dog owns or belongs to anyone. So we go shopping, Carrie and I and the dog, we go shopping for stuff, because I can't keep watching this dog by myself, because remember, they're working full time. So I'm tasked with taking care of the dog. I'm sleeping in the basement. We made a crate for this dog. I'm sleeping in the basement, waking up every half an hour, taking it outside to pee, but I'm getting exhausted. So we start putting it now on, I don't know, Craigslist, I think I put it on. At that time, Facebook Marketplace didn't exist. This was back like in 2006 or 7. Is that right? No, sorry, 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And every response we got to say they would love to take that dog off our hands, we had to go visit. We had to vet this puppy. So my cousin and I would take the puppy, we didn't name it, would take the puppy to go visit these people that wanted the dog. And then we would let them play with their people or their dogs. And then we would leave, and my cousin would say, nope, that's not it. And I'd be like, oh, please, I'm exhausted, honey. Let's just get rid of this dog somehow. So another week goes by. Remember, I'm watching this dog, taking care of it every day. I also have a cat. And I think I also had my daughter's kitten at the time. So it was a house full of animals, but they all got along great. So I finally look at this dog in my moment. Yeah, keep the puppy. That wasn't going to happen, Natalie. Too many animals. But we thought about it. I look at this puppy in sheer exhaustion and I say in my head, what do you want? And I hear the words Oscar and Penelope, the names Oscar and Penelope. And remember, I wasn't a medium yet. I was just kind of practicing and doing some stuff. Those names meant nothing to me. They meant nothing to my cousin. But I told her, let's not rule it out. So the message is being received. Leave no room for doubt. Don't rule out what you're seeing, hearing, interpreting. Give what you get. So I told my cousin, Oscar and Penelope, let's just wait for it. So another few days go by, nothing. We visited a few more houses. My cousin kept saying, nope, that's not it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're never going to get rid of this puppy. I get an email like 9 o'clock one night from this woman, and she says, oh, is the puppy still available? We have a little Jack Russell. We're looking for another dog. So I say to my cousin, can these people come over? It's like 9:30 at night. And she's like, yeah, have them come over. So they come over with their Jack Russell. They came to the house. Instead of us going to them, they came to our house. And the Jack Russell and this puppy, now you know what a Jack Russell is, a pretty small dog. So the Jack Russell and this puppy just played. They ran around the house. They played so well together. The Jack Russell really took control. The people, the husband and wife, the owners of the little Jack Russell loved this little puppy of ours. So before we said yes, I said to them, okay, let me just ask you one question. Do the names Oscar and Penelope mean anything to you? And they both get this shocked look on their face. And the wife says, Penelope is what I was going to name the next dog that we got. And I said, okay. And Oscar? And the husband said, Oscar was the name of the last dog we had that we didn't get along with us and we had to return to the shelter. So what did my cousin and I do? I picked up that puppy, I handed it to them and said, here's your dog. That dog has since grown to a very large dog. Her name is Riley. We dog sat forward a few times. We're still friends with the owners. We dog sat forward a few times, and I enjoy watching them on Facebook now, that little family. Good story. And again, I wasn't a medium, but I trusted those words that I heard, and I gave what I got, and that came to fruition, even though that took a couple of weeks of me being exhausted. Again, the message comes through, leave no room for doubt. And that's what I say in all my readings for anyone that says, I really want to do this work. How do I start? And I said, the first message to hear from Spirit is leave no room for doubt. Leave no room for doubt. As soon as that goes away, everything, you're open to everything. So that was a good story. Okay. Yes, I've read animals in readings also. There was a time when I read a woman, and I know she had a cat, but I didn't see a picture of it or anything. So a cat comes to my mind, and I see the cat on this, it was like a picture of the universe, like laying on the picture of a universe. So now it's my job as a medium to interpret this image. So I say to my client, your cat's telling me he is the master of the universe. That's how I interpreted the image, the master of the universe. And the woman just smiles and nods. She's not really thinking anything. I say a few more things. Afterwards, she calls me or emails me and said, I'm sorry, I just got the reference. My cat always sleeps on my bed, and my comforter is a universe themed, a galactic themed comforter. And that's why the cat said, I am the master of the universe. So the woman said, thank you again so much. Again, yes, Natalie, sounds like every cat. Yeah, some cats just want to say who they truly are and they don't really have a message, right? So it just is what it is for that cat. So I want to go back to, let me just go look at my questions. Oscar and Natalie says she would have thought Oscar and Penelope would have been the owner's name. See, yeah, I might have thought that too. So here's what happens. Thanks, Tanya. Animals see the future. Yes, Natalie, they do. I would say, I don't know who it was. And Natalie is asking, was it the puppy spirit guide who communicated those names to me, or was it the puppy itself? As in every reading I do, sometimes those names come in so fast that I don't know. Had I been doing a reading maybe on that puppy, or when I'm doing a reading for a client, I have more time. But in that case, I don't know who gave me those names. So that could be. So let me go back to Killian. Killian, the German Shepherd, who's come through in many readings, loved by all. Killian knew my mother. Killian knew my sister. Killian knew my daughter. Killian had interactions with all of these people before she crossed. It's December of last year, and I'm doing one of those spirit card readings with Reverend Hoyt Robinette. And we're doing it via Zoom now because it's COVID. And in that reading is also my daughter, my sister, my cousin Carrie, and my mother now is in the non-physical world, not in the physical world anymore. So Killian comes through for me, and Hoyt says, Killian says hello, and then just moves on. And I'm like, oh, okay, Killian. Killian has come through before in my personal reading, so I didn't question it that Killian was going to come through with Reverend Hoyt. Well, now it comes to my cousin who actually owned Killian since she was a puppy. And Reverend Hoyt's giving the reading. And Reverend Hoyt, let me tell you, during these readings, during these spirit card events, he rarely, if ever, will ask you a question. Sometimes he'll say, does that make sense to you? And we'll say, yes, thank you, because he has no idea what he's saying, just like what happens to me when I give readings. But he will never ask you a question about what he's seeing. It's like he stepped out of himself and came into Reverend Hoyt. And he says to Carrie, oh, Killian's here. And Carrie says, yes, thank you. And Reverend Hoyt says, who is Killian? Killian's saying hi to everyone here, more than one person here, and she's giving her love to everyone here. And I can see the furrowed brow on Reverend Hoyt, just like Reverend Justin Terry, who had no idea who this soul named Killian was. Like probably they couldn't see an image of a person, human, couldn't see an animal for sure. So he says to Carrie, who is Killian? And again, I want to say that never happens. I've been to 10 plus readings with Reverend Hoyt, and that never happens. So Carrie's kind of hesitating. I see her on her end kind of hesitating because she's in the Zoom meeting. And I'm like in my head going, just tell him, just tell him. She was kind of nervous about telling him because she didn't want to give anything away. But she said, Killian is my dog. And as soon as Reverend Hoyt heard that, there was just this chuckle about him because, again, he had no idea. Killian came through as this beautiful soul, and he didn't know how to interpret it. He only interpreted the message. So sometimes we feel the soul as a medium. We feel the soul, but we don't see the soul. We hear the soul of your loved ones and your animal friends and loved ones, but we don't see the image of them. So it's our job as mediums to interpret the image, the sign, the message, and then get feedback from you. When I do a reading, I like to say, only give me yes, no, or maybe when I say, does that make sense? Because I want spirit to do the work and not my client. When I'm done reading and the image or the interpretation, I'm done interpreting it, then I will ask my client, I'm not so sure about what this is. Can you explain what this means to me? Because I'm not getting anything else. Then I will ask that, and then it will all come full circle. Just like Penelope and Oscar came to me full circle. I didn't question it. I held it off, and it took about a week to get the answer about Penelope and Oscar. Thank you all for joining and listening. My second book is coming out soon. My editor got it back to me in 2 days. He loves me. Got it back to me in 2 days, and he will also now be helping me with my young adult novel. Interesting the way the things work. I am having a day today, and I got my car washed. And so let me tell you just real quickly about what happened about 3 days ago. I was in New York City with my daughter, And we were watching something on TV, and at the end of the movie, everything came out. Everything came out good for this one person. Like, she had a day where everything came to fruition. Everything she asked for, everything she wanted, even the guy in it, came to fruition. So I said to my daughter, wouldn't that be great to have a day where everything you want and everything you've ever thought about and everything you've been really thinking that if this happened, I would be so ecstatic and content, happened? Today was that day. For the last few hours, I've had so many fabulous things happen that I'm walking around the grocery store singing, going, can this day get any better? It might. And that's why I came home and decided to do a message for you guys, a nice little event for you guys. Tanya, I can't wait for your book. Thank you. My first one is already out on Smashwords and Amazon. If you haven't received it yet, this is the second book in a, I don't know, might be a 3-parter, might be only a 2-parter, but it's coming out soon. If anybody listening would want to read it before it comes out and give me a review, I would love that. Tanya, if you'd like to do that, I would be happy with that, sending you an early copy of it and then reviewing it for me so I can post that review. That would be fun. Thank you. Anybody else who would like to do that, I am more than happy to do that. I'm going to have a book launch at some point. It's going to be free on these sites when I figure that out, but that's going to happen probably in the next month or so. Any more questions? Natalie, is animal communication very different from human soul-spirit communication? So yes, I think we answered that question. It's not any different, but if an animal comes through, sometimes I will see the actual animal, the image in my head. Other times I will just feel it or sense it. Like at the end, if the person said, my client says to me, hey, can you bring through my dog who passed away? I said, okay, don't give me any more information. Let me just call on them. Then I'll get their name, I'll get what they look like, and then I'll get any other messages. But I try to in a reading, I try to let spirit just run the show at the beginning and then get whatever I get. Remember when another video I did when I was doing a reading with someone and a dog came to me and the dog was very soft and curly, and I gave the color and I asked my client, does this dog make any sense to you? And he said no. 2 days later, I met a friend that I hadn't seen in 5 years, and he had that dog, physical world, but he had that exact dog, and that dog and I had a connection already. So that dog came to me in a reading prior to me actually seeing it in the physical world. So I'm sure that answers your question. Natalie, you're so welcome for everything. Thank you. And Natalie, you should have put perfect day, P-U-R-R. She said, happy to be part of your perfect day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, Tanya, I'm going to shoot me an email somehow so I can get that to you. Fabulous. Love it. My daughter is having a fabulous time also. Let's see. We had a great time in New York City, and today she's doing she's producing a shoot at the Sleepy Hollow Golf Club in New York. And I told her, you totally need to take pictures at the Sleepy Hollow Golf Club, because I was seeing a picture in my head of her taking a picture in one of the bathrooms at the club. I said, so do that. And she's like, yeah, Mom, that's not creepy. I'll do that. Thanks, Tanya. Okay. Natalie wants to tell the story about your cat. Yes, it is haunted. Tell the story about your cat showing up from the non-physical. Ooh, that's a long story. And I feel I've gone pretty long here already. But Natalie, let's do that again on another day. Cats do show up. Animals will show up for you in that altered state. But I explained that on the altered state video. So if you want to know, I think it was altered states and out-of-body experience. If you want to know my experience, the way my cat has come through for me a couple times, the last time he did was on the anniversary of his passing. So that's a good point, though, Natalie, to make. Notice the day of your dog or cat, your animal's passing. Notice that. And on that day, you're probably closer to it and they're closer to you. So ask for a sign on the day of their anniversary of their passing. I won't say on their birth. I'm hearing only on the anniversary of their passing. Do that. Let me tell you one more quick thing. I just had it in my head. Oh, when I first did, such a long time ago, my mother, when I first became a medium, my mother's like, I have a bunch of friends here in Florida who want to do a group reading with you. And I'm like, Mom, I've never, ever done a group reading in my life, and I am scared. You know what? She said, oh, Donna, you'll be fine. This is what you do. And I'm like, okay. So I did a group reading with a bunch of her friends, my first one ever. And boy, was I nervous. The second thing that came through to me was a monkey. So I forgot about that. A monkey comes through. So I'm like in my head going, how the hell am I going to explain this one? So I said, but I have to give what I get. Remember, leave no room for doubt and give what you get. So I said to the group, I've got a monkey here. Can anyone claim a monkey? A woman raises her hand and said, my father-in-law owned a monkey. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? She said, no, he owned a monkey. He passed away. So I proceeded. I wish that reading was recorded. It is not. It was so long ago. I proceeded to say some things about the monkey, I'm sure. And that she was very grateful, and I'm sure went home to tell her father-in-law that his monkey came through. A monkey came through in a reading. Okay, Sleepy Hollow. Yes, it's a haunted. Yes, one of your favorite stories. Yes, it's got something to do with the Sleepy Hollow story. I don't know, but my daughter sent me a picture today of this creepy fence, and on the fence was a hawk. So I said to her, hawk is a harbinger, a totem animal. You better look now. You better beware of what else is going on around you today. She's like, okay, I will. And then she went on to do her job. Okay, I'm going to be ending now. Spirit was definitely testing me with the monkey. Not only said, definitely testing me, but the reading before, the thing that came before the monkey was Abraham Lincoln. So they tested me with Abraham Lincoln too. Okay, I'm going. Thank you so much for joining. Any comments or likes? I love the likes. Please share. Love is love as love is love. Someone just made me say that. Love is love as love is love. Love you all. Take care, everybody. Saying goodbye now. Ending YouTube.